The GOAT of the San Genesio, Alex Federico, grappling world champion, age 54, against one of the most experienced MMA fighters of all Italy, Iron Mike Verginelli. A huge weight difference between the two fighters, more than 13 kilos. Not a big difference in age, and this is for sure gonna be a very exciting match. Can you imagine, guys, at the age of these guys, to put yourself into this situation where in front of your family, your friends, all the people that knows you at 54?
Yeah, so Alessandro recently retired. Doesn't look very retired right now.
No.
He looks in prime condition, and I think one thing that's worth recognizing is Alessandro's always stayed in shape, and that means he's never gotten out of shape and had to get back into shape, which is incredibly hard to do at this age. But Iron Mike is no slouch. You can see he's in fantastic condition as well, and just look at the strength of him here. Now, you have to also remember that Alessandro has spent a long time organizing this event. Sponsors, matchmaking, logistics, everything from food, drink, transport, hotels, all of these sort of things, and everything of this plays a part in the stress bucket. So how's that going to affect the lighter weight fighter tonight? At the moment they tie up, and it'd be interesting to see what the game plan is for both guys. And once again, I need to remind you that this rule set is submission attempts. Submission attempts outperform everything else in this rule set. So
yeah, even if you can see one of the two fighters being out-grappled by the other one, what just counts is submission attempts and nothing else.
And if the submission attempts are equal, then we look at the rest of the scoring criteria.
So a lot of study in this period for the two fighters. No real takedown attempts.
See, Alessandro obviously trains at this altitude all the time. I doubt Iron Mike does. But is the stand-up with the heavier MMA fighter the best choice of strategy for Alessandro here? You've got to think he's got something up his sleeve because he's a very intelligent grappler. Obviously, I think this is a great shout for Iron Mike. I think this is the sort of thing you should be weighing on that head, drawing the energy out of Alessandro and spending as much time as he can trying to fatigue the opposition. Oh, big club, big club. I think we've seen some effective striking already. Now we're looking for effective grappling. I don't think either of these guys are going to shoot. You know, I think this is going to be looking for some sort of arm drag or Greco-style tie-up. There's too much risk if you get sprawled on, I think.
Especially for Alex.
Was this a takedown or a slip?
I think it's a
bit of both?
Yeah, a bit of both. I wouldn't consider it a takedown. Maybe a slip from Alex with a kind of pull guard.
Obviously, the rest of the round will determine what happens here, but I think...
How would you play against an opponent bigger like Mike Verginelli?
Yeah, it's a great question. I think it really depends on obviously their background. You know, I'd play different against a wrestler than I would against, say, a more jiu-jitsu based guy. But if I had a bigger, stronger MMA guy on top of me, then I'd be very similar to Alessandro here, trying to get underneath him, probably looking to attack his legs. So I probably would have looked to fake a tie-up and then dropped in on the legs, maybe with the idea of wrestling up. Because one thing that I've found whenever I've engaged with MMA fighters is they're extremely good at wrestling. Extremely good at wrestling. They're extremely good at countering wrestling. But one thing that they're not that attuned to is wrestling from the bottom position. So if you have a jiu-jitsu guard, like a butterfly guard, it's so rare to see that in MMA for the risk of being struck. So wrestling from a butterfly guard position is very often something that I look for against MMA guys because it's a weird niche game. Alessandro is a half guard player, a type of half guard called Z guard. and when he gets to that position, he likes to use an overhook and a Z guard to stretch his opponent out and force him into different courses of action. Now this is difficult because, you know, nothing's really happened in this round.
Okay.
Yeah, I think that's probably the closest thing to a draw you could call, really. I just hope for Alessandro's sake that it's not like that in the next round. Nothing happened. Alessandro had a slip, and Iron Mike disengaged.
Yeah, pretty much that's it. So let's see how the two fighters are gonna change the strategy for the second round.
Now there's a rule that there's no draws here, and for the crowd's sake, I really hope that we actually get some engagement and some action here, because we've been told that the judges would favor the lighter weight opponent and the age difference. Now there isn't an age difference, but there is a weight difference, which means that, like, if it's completely even, which it certainly seems to be relatively at the moment, then it probably would go to Alessandro, which I don't think any of us want to see a win like that, you know?
Well, but that's the rule set. When you decide to compete, you have to accept.
Yeah, I think, you know, it is what it is. But we all know Alessandro's skills. He's got years and years and years, maybe 20 years of training. You know, it'd be cool to see some of those skills on display. And remember, you are main event here. You are main event, so this is something that's been building up to. You certainly don't want to be overshadowed by the blue belts in the first stanza, you know? When you've got a card that's so beautifully matched, and there's been such entertainment all the way through, back and forth, submission attempts versus control, upsets, you know, victories. You certainly want to see a chance for these athletes to perform. And I've seen some of Alessandro's performances, and he is an incredible performer. And obviously, Iron Mike speaks for himself.
None of the two fighters can find a grip to shot a takedown.
Grip fighting is extraordinarily technical, and there's a lot to be learned from this grip fighting, but if there's no... There we go, Alessandro engages and tries to get some action going. So Iron Mike stifling the butterfly guard, Alessandro trying to clear the head off his chest to create some space to get something going. Alessandro maintains that butterfly guard. The crowd is always behind their man with this double butterfly guard. With Alessandro's ankles pinned to his hips there, it's very hard for him to create space. Iron Mike's using that weight advantage to block Alessandro's ability to use his legs, and tries a rolling Kimura attempt. I mean, is the rolling Kimura attempt?
Well, no, because he hadn't the perfect grip on that.
Yeah. Nope, try to pass, does pass. Okay, something has happened. Okay, something has happened, and Alessandro is going to need to do something here. There's 90 seconds left in this match, and so far you've got a very half-hearted rolling Kimura attempt and a guard pass that probably wouldn't be scored in the IBJJF because it was only there for about 2 seconds. But that is actually something that's happened. In terms of Alessandro, you can clearly see he wants to get a guard going. He's been the one that's willing to engage when the stand-up battle became a bit of a stalemate. But it seems that Iron Mike is not really up for taking any chances. Obviously, he's the one who's actually tried to complete the passes and all the rest of those, but he's not willing to make any errors.
What would you do to try to pass this butterfly guard?
What I do
try to clear one foot, at least one.
Yeah, like this.
Like
so,
this.
Yeah, exactly. And he's passing to the side. The thing for me in these positions, right, is that smother's illegal in this. And so any time that I've got stuck in a position like this, where my hands are still free, like Alessandro's are, like I like to just cover the opponent's mouth. You know what I mean? And then when I cover the opponent's mouth, he has to either deal with it by bringing a hand towards it, or
then?
Well, so once he brings a hand up, he's no longer covering the biceps like this.
Oh yeah.
You know, so I've done this in Polaris multiple times, where a guy has tried to shut me down a little bit, and I just put a hand over his mouth, and that forces the action to actually commence.
I think this goes
If ever a fight deserved a draw, that was the one.
Yeah, I think it's gonna go to Alex because of the weight difference.
I mean, like, yeah. Again, like, if all was equal, like, do you see the guard pass as more control? Because he certainly didn't consolidate it. I would say that, like, you know, if that was an IBJJF match, it's 0 points.
0 points,
yeah.
Exactly.
Alessandro pulled guard off a grip every time, 0 points. Like, literally, I would say that's as close to a stalemate in a grappling match as you're ever going to see. And very often that goes to the favor towards the lighter weight fighter. Alessandro was trying to drive the pace, but he wasn't in control of the match. Iron Mike wasn't trying to drive the pace, and I'd say he wasn't also in control of the match. So, one more round?
Yeah, it could be a great solution. Maybe, you know, in which tournament they put the athlete like in a Rodizio fight, for example, they let them start from the back.
Oh, EBI.
Yeah, EBI, like EBI
and you
rules.
get people gaming the rules as well and like forcing a stalemate.
Yeah, exactly. Should be that could be one solution to this fight, or maybe from the mount or from the back.
Look, both guys tried their best. Yes, okay, a draw. Okay, that truly is what I would describe as a fair result.